up? Atlanta's #1 hip-hop station, Hot 107.9. Of course, I am your girl, Beyonce Alowishus, and from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, we're live, Studio B, backstage with none other than Jidenna.
Yes, yes.
You've seen him on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, but I bet you did not know when you heard him that Classsic Man was going to blow up the way it did.
Oh, man.
Because, you know, sometimes we get to interview people before they're like hot, and like everyone's like, you know, because in the beginning it's like, oh, who is this guy? I haven't heard the music. And now that they hear the music, it's like, oh, I love him.
Man, you know it's been amazing? The most amazing thing to me has been seeing the children come up to me and the elders. That's the highest compliment, I think, that can ever be paid to an artist when all generations dig what you do. So it's been great. Even bigger than, you know, the numbers and the charts is the people always.
So I have to ask, because when I first met you, I was like, oh man, he's so cool. You're May 4th?
Yes.
You're a
Oh, you
Taurus?
got it right. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. May 2nd.
Yes. Are you
Taurus.
serious?
I knew I loved him for a
Taurus
reason.
salute.
Big shout out to all of our Taurus out there if you didn't know about it. Now,
Yes.
you're I've been doing my research and
Thank
everything.
you.
So there's not very many people in the hip hop world, music world from Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, I was born there.
Yeah.
You know, I have a great family there out in the cornfields.
Okay.
And the good old lakes there. But I grew up there and then I moved to Nigeria shortly after my birth.
And you know what, that's funny because our cameraman, Starter Cam, his family's actually from Nigeria, and he was telling me a story about how I think back in the day you had to have to take assault rifles to go back to Nigeria in one of the towns.
Yeah, you know, it's actually not too uncommon when you know, if you have the resources to do that, you can carry what's called mobile police or MOPO. So they carry rifles, and this is usually a case when there's a season, when you know, it might be a little tense in the village when you're going to do whatever it is. It might be a burial or a wedding. Nigeria is a beautiful place. It's always has been. And like any place, there's places that are wonderful and lovely and peaceful, and there's other places that, you know, you want to take some precautions. Like anywhere in the earth I've ever been.
And
other
in
than
the
the North
States.
Pole and the South Pole.
Right, I mean, you go to the west side of Decatur, you hit the bluff,
Exactly.
you never know what you're going to hit.
So, you know, there was a time that I had to do that to bury my father. But, you know, you move through life, and everything's dandy everywhere I go. I love Nigeria, I love America, and I've had good times, bad times everywhere.
But you've been all over the place, from Wisconsin to LA to Nigeria.
Yeah, I know. I'm not an army brat.
Right.
But I've definitely moved like one.
You have.
Yeah.
That's epic. So one thing I want to talk about is, first of all, the success of Classsic Man. I mean, I just cannot believe how it's taken off. You know, and a lot of people are like, well, what is a Classsic Man?
Yeah.
What would you define a Classsic Man as? Because it could really have like so many different meanings.
It can, and I think everybody has their own interpretation. I can only speak to the Classsic men I'm surrounded by. You know, Nana Kwabena, amazing producer and DJ who's always on stage turning up. And the Classsic Man is not about fashion; it's about character.
Right.
I made the song because I saw the mechanics, the sanitation workers, the barbers, the frat boys, the gangsters on my block, and how they carry themselves. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, they carry themselves with a certain amount of poise and nobility. And so I wanted to make a song that was an anthem for them.
You know, one thing I love about you is that, yes, you know, you're educated, yes, you graduated from Stanford, but you will turn up on somebody as well. And you can tell. And, you know, one of the songs that you guys performed on stage tonight at the Tabernacle, of course, at the Great Toyota event that you put on, was The Hell You Talking About. The Hell You Talking About. And that song was amazing.
Absolutely.
And it was so powerful, and you felt the energy, and you felt just everybody kind of like coming together on that song, and like the movement behind it. And, you know, for those of the people out there that are going through, you know, issues with police and you know, the Black Lives campaign that's going on, what do you want to tell like the young people that are kind of like looking for an outlet and a place to go and a place to vent, and just kind of like, you know, feel like they're getting some kind of justice for everything that they're going through right now?
Well, you know, we say in Wonderland that silence is our enemy and sound is our weapon.
Right.
So we can't keep it pent up. We can't afford to do that as human beings and as a country. So I'd say, you know, find a way to express it and channel it in a way that's productive. For us, of course, as artists and musicians, one primary way is music, and that's truly a blessing. We we were out there on the streets as well as the stage singing that song. We created it as a tool, as a way to utilize and harness that energy that I think the world is seeing is all over our country, regardless of color. But it's a crucial time where I think that we can't sit back, and especially as the millennial generation, who has been known to be apathetic, or we're perceived rather as being lifeless and maybe lazy and entitled. But look at us now. We're out there and we've found certain causes, this being one of them, police brutality, that we deeply, deeply care about as human beings.
So do you feel like music is changing right now as being more political and making everyone more aware of what's going on?
I think society is changing. I think that if Emmett Till and Harriet Tubman had camera phones, and we probably would be a lot further along as a country than we are now, specifically related to the issue of police brutality or vigilantes or people just devaluing certain lives, in particular black lives in this country. So, I think society changes, and as artists, whether we like it or not, whether we're aware of it or not, we are always reflecting the times.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Now, shifting gears a little bit, but still speaking their mind. Did you watch the VMAs last night?
I watched a little bit of it, yeah.
Did you see Kanye West's Video Vanguard speech?
I did.
What did you think about his acceptance speech and everything that he said about award shows and, basically how they put artists out there to be judged and kind of like on the chopping block, as he said?
Yeah, I think he made some points throughout the speech that were definitely that hit home for certain artists. I think it depends on who you are and what your stance is. In general, I think most people though were were very amazed by the fact that he announced his presidency.
Would you vote for Kanye West as president?
It depends on his platform.
Right.
To be honest, I take every candidate seriously.
Absolutely.
Whether Donald Trump or Kanye West. So if he had a platform that I agree with, of course I would. If he didn't, then I wouldn't. It just depends on really the character, the policies that presidential candidate are portraying or exhibiting to the world.
That was a very excellent political answer, and I totally appreciate it. And you did very well. You passed that. So what we're going to do is there's a quick thing that we like to call the lightning round, all right?
Okay, right on.
Popeyes or KFC?
Neither.
All right, guilty pleasure.
I love that I listen to more than just hip-hop as my guilty pleasure. I don't always.
Outside of hip-hop, who is like one of your favorite bands, groups, artists?
I gotta go with the Beatles and the Beach Boys, the Stones. Like it's not a guilty pleasure so much as it is something that people don't know about me. I study a lot of music outside of hip-hop, and and probably more than rap, more than R&B. I study rock and roll. I study the swing era.
Love it.
Yeah, so I guess the only reason there's some guilt there is because when you rap, you're supposed to just study
because people don't think that people don't think that you're supposed to have like any kind of other I listen to, if you were to go through my iPod, you'd be like, who is this woman? Where did you come from? Like, everything. So I completely feel
Here's another one. When I wear my socks inside the house, I always I wear them half on, half off.
I like that.
And there's definitely things about me that are more slobbish than people probably perceive.
Okay, I love the entire collaboration. Roman, everybody, Jidenna, you. It was absolutely phenomenal. Tell everybody how they can follow you on Instagram, Twitter.
Always at Jidenna. The biggest thing is to know how to spell the name, Jidenna. And if not, Instagram, facebook.com/Jidenna and Jidenna.com.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Good luck to you.